what's up, everybody? This is DJ Thielen, CEO of Fortune Foreclosures and founder of Flipping On Demand, and your host for another episode of DJ Thielen Live, Success Strategies for Living Your Best Life. And today, it's really cool because I always wanted to be an entrepreneur when I was young, but back in the 70s, it wasn't really a thing to do. But I have on a friend of mine, good friend of mine, Ben Precious, 18-year-old young hustler. What's up, buddy?
Doing good, man. Thanks for the intro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for being on the show, man. All the way from where are you at right now?
So right now I'm actually in the UK. I'm originally from here, but I bounce around quite a bit. As I'm sure you guys will get to know, I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, like DJ here. That's where my company's based. But yeah, man, right now I'm over in the UK.
Right next to me.
Exactly, yeah. Right next to you.
Right on Vine, baby. I was like,
Right.
man, where's your office? You're like, oh, it's over on Vine and,
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Right
I'm
across the
like,
street.
that's where I'm at. So, anyways, man, so you were, let's talk about, I want to get into this because whether it's young people that are listening, watching the show, or, people that are like, man, maybe some people that are, I would say older, but like me that have been scared or fearful to, go for things and take risks and take chances and stuff. Share with, I guess, so share with people on here, like just a snapshot on who you are, where you come from, and maybe, where you're at right now.
Sure. I think the best way to do that is I'll just kind of give you guys a quick bit of my story. So like DJ said, I'm 18 years old, so I haven't been in this game for too long, but I got my start at 16. So over in the UK, we have something called secondary school. It's essentially high school. The education system's a little bit different here in the sense that you basically do high school, then go to college, and then it's university, right? So I finished high school, went to college. I got into, it was a media course. So, marketing, some stuff like that. A lot of photography, videography, content. So similar to what I do now. But really, a lot of people in the class, they all just kind of messed around, set criteria. There was nothing really to it. And I just felt like I was wasting my time. Then I started following a guy called Ty Lopez, who I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. He came out with a course on how to start a marketing company. So long story short, got into that course. I practically emptied my bank account to get into it, but I took the jump. Got into the course, started going after that. And then I just kind of realized, like, this is where it's at. This is what I want to be doing. Because I was looking at, Ty's lifestyle. He's got the cars and the house and all that stuff. And it was just like this alternate reality to what I was doing in college, right? Which I guess was normal, if you want to call it that. So I took the jump, got into the course. I built a really solid foundation of knowledge, fruits. And really,
Hey, Ben.
I just kind of went off the radar.
Hey, Ben, do me a quick favor because your image is a little fuzzy. Do you have your Wi-Fi on your phone that you're not using? You could turn off. Maybe it'll speed up the picture and everything. So let's see here. Let's see how this is gonna fit. Hopefully this clears things up. So you guys, you're gonna hear today. All right, let's see. Let's see if that's better.
There we go. Is that good?
Oh, dude, way better.
Better?
Way better. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I thought I'd messed it up then.
Yeah. No, man. So no worries, man. So, hey, yeah, way better. So
cool.
You were starting to say, so let's go back to where you were just, you went through Ty Lopez's course, spent some money you didn't have. Go ahead and start back there.
Sure. So like I said, I built a really solid foundation of knowledge through that course. And then what I was going to come on to was I basically went off the radar for about probably a year and a half or maybe even 2 years. And it was literally just a case of every day, I didn't see my friends, didn't go out, practically none of that. And I just worked on my business every single day. And actually at the time I was based in the UK and I just couldn't get any traction over here. So I based the company out in LA, which is where I wanted, to see myself and end up. So literally from being here, I based my company out in LA and then spent the next year and a half to 2 years just building it every single day, making the phone calls, doing the emails, doing everything necessary to build a company. And again, long story short, it was that, 2 years of just going in and doing the work, the hard work, and getting it done to get it to the point where it is now. And honestly, one of the turning points for me was I flew by myself to Las Vegas for the 10X GrowthCon 2. And that was like I'd say that was a turning point for me where, I'd been working on this company for the past year, building it up. Then I went to this event, and the knowledge from the speakers was huge. Like, I took so much value from that. Then the networking and the people you meet. And I know me and you spoke about this before, but going to those events, it's all about the people you meet there, right? And doing all the networking. So I built an amazing kind of network just by going to that event, took in a lot of the knowledge from the speakers. And like I say, I'd say a turning point. So from then, I built up my network, had the business in a good place, and things just started rolling from there. And then it's almost like a snowball effect, right? You get one client, you get 2, 3, 4, 5, you go to an event, you build a network, and then it just kind of spirals from there. And here we are today.
So
I went to Miami. Well, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, buddy.
No, I was just going to say I went to GrowthCon 3 a few months back, like you did. And, same again, those events, the GrowthCons, those really just kind of give you that boost, with bringing more people into your network and more clients and stuff like that. So, yeah, really good.
Hey, man, did you see me there with my Game Changer hat?
I don't think I did, but I saw you on Instagram. That's all that matters.
Yeah, man. People are like, dude, I remember. Yeah, you had the hat on, man. Like,
Right. Yeah.
So I got him just before we went there too, right? Hey, you know what Grant says? Money follows attention. So if you don't have the attention,
Absolutely.
And so going back to, so you're 18 years old now.
That's right. Yeah.
And I remember when you and I were chatting, I'm like, dude, you're 8. Did you say 18?
Yeah, he didn't believe me.
But that's the cool thing, man, is like, because I'm, it sounds crazy, but I got 30 years. Right. I'll be 48 this year in a couple months.
Sure.
But, when I was young, I growing up in the 70s and 80s, and there's probably a lot of people like me that, wanted to be an entrepreneur. It wasn't, back then it was really heavy. Hey, go to school, right, get a job, climb the corporate ladder. And now it's so clear, right? Like, you got Grant talking about it. You got Ty Lopez talking about it. Unless you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, something like that. Really, it's like, if you ask most people, why are you going to school? Well, I was like, the only reason I feel like people should go to school and it might rub people the wrong way or it might enlighten people is if you're going to get a degree or something that you have to have in order to do that, or it's been your lifelong goal, not your parents, your lifelong goal that you want to go and I want to graduate, I want to get a degree, and I want to, like, this has just always been a dream, I want to graduate college, then absolutely 100%, I think you should go to college. Other than that, nobody should go to college. Like, and that's just my thinking, because it's anyways, we could talk about this shit all day.
we could.
We could.
Really
so what made you, obviously you're 18 now, you have your Pace Media Solutions, which is a successful social media marketing company. What made you, at what age did you decide, hey, I want to do my own thing, I want to have my own hustle, I want to have my own business?
Right. I would honestly say I've always had it in me, but I never really knew what it was. Again, throughout high school, you kind of get put on a set path, right? They're like, what do you want to be? That it's like, well, no one really ever knows. So like I say, I think I always had it in me that I wanted to do my own thing. I always wanted to, be able to do, I guess, more, but it's like, what was the avenue I would take to do that? Or what would be the vehicle, right? So I always knew it. And I guess when I got to college, it was just that, look, I'm free from school now. So, I can kind of be my own person a bit more. So really, man, it was just the case of, I guess I got the right knowledge at the right time. And honestly, I wouldn't say it was a coincidence, but like I said, I just started following Ty Lopez randomly one day on social media. And I mean, I'd seen his adverts online before, like a lot of people probably have. But I just decided to, I'll take this guy serious. I'll see what he's got. I'll invest in one of his courses and see where it goes. Because the alternative right now, being in college, isn't doing anything for me. So why not try, whatever the alternative is? So, like I say, I gave that course a shot and it paid off. And then I got into all the other stuff that comes, with all, entrepreneurship and whatnot. Found out about Grant. Gary Vaynerchuk was another one. But yeah, again, Grant was one of those guys that really just, stuck with his content. And I think that's important too, because I think a lot of people nowadays get confused. There's so many, entrepreneurs out there. There's, you got Grant, Gary, and Ty, like the main three, right? And those three, even though the underlying thing behind it is like entrepreneurship and do your own thing, they all have a very different message, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to kind of, pick your avenue and then go after it. Because I've seen it so many times, people kind of, switch lanes or change up what they're doing. Whereas with my company, like I said, I just went off the radar for 2 years and I stuck it out. And dude, I could have changed it so many times. I could have gone into so many different, avenues of business. Dude, I could have even stuck college out. You know what I mean? There was so many different roads I could have taken, but I decided to start what I, had and stuck it out all the way. And I'd say that's kind of like a differentiating, factor as to why it's as successful as what it is today, simply because I just stuck it out and, kind of took that avenue of knowledge and stuck with it rather than switching it up, if that makes sense.
Hey man, you're a smart guy. What was it? What was it kind of inside of you, or now?
Right.
I mean, back when I was, back when I hate dating myself, but shit, back when I was young, you didn't even have internet. But now see, you can go on, right? There's social proof.
Mm-hmm.
There's people like your age that are, millionaires doing great things, building big companies. And so you have one of these now, right? A phone and a desire and a plan, and maybe a mentor is always good. You can go out and literally make a ton of money and have a lot of fun doing it. What was it in you that at that young age, I guess, and you answered part of this, but I guess to rephrase it, when you bought Ty's course, right, what was it that made you say, man, I just want to buy this course on how to build my own social media company and really just put my head down and build a company? Because most people at 18, there's people we talk to constantly, man, that are at 50, 60 that are terrified. And I think the thing with the young generation, yourself, I tell my son, he's 23, right? Dude, move to LA. Yeah, do this, do that. Like, take your chances when you're young, because you have freaking time to recover.
Yeah.
And, you got time. And so, so what was it, though, that made you say, hey, man, I want to have my own hustle. I want to have my own business. Was it because you saw other people doing it, you knew you could, or was it just something that, like what was it?
Yeah, and that's a good question. It's not something I know, for certain what it was, but I think really what it was like, why wouldn't I just give the alternative? Because like I said, I was in college and all I felt like I was just wasting my time. Like I never got anything done in the classes. It was literally just a waste of time. That's what I felt like. And I've never liked wasting my time. So, and I would say I've always, I guess, been older than my years, if that makes sense, mentally.
Yeah.
So I thought, man, really it was just a case of, why not give the alternative a shot? There's literally nothing to lose, so why not give it a try, right? And then I've always had that mentality of, I guess it would make sense for business. Like I can always put in the work. And one of the things Ty said that actually made a lot of sense to me, and it was a lot of his philosophy that probably changed my mindset to actually wanting to do this. He was like, why would you work hard when you can work smart, right? So I kind of took that and then did the two of them. But no, it's a good question, and I don't know if I could probably answer it one day. But it's one of those things that I've just never really thought about, because I just kind of took the jump and then never looked back. But I guess it is that why not give the alternative a shot anyway, right? Because what I'm doing right now just isn't making sense.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and we all have, some people get in their head too much, and I think I think it's great to go with our, people say go with your gut or, whatever. And a lot of times there's a lot of truth to that, because it's like, man, this just doesn't feel right. I just, why am I going to school? Why am I doing this? There's more for me. And you see something with Ty Lopez and it's like, oh man, I can do that. And it like connects with you.
Yeah, man. For sure.
And so you probably saw him at the 10X Growth Con, right? He was talking about someone that went to college and to get an English degree, right? And they spoke perfect English, and they spent like 60 grand to get a certificate. So it's like, what, like if you really think about it, right? It's just like some of it, not all of it, but so much of it is just insane. So for these people that are watching this, listening to the podcast, a lot of young entrepreneurs, people that say, man, I'm 16, I'm 17. In fact, Ricky O'Donnell, who's a buddy of mine, was at 10X. He just said, what advice would you give a 10-year-old self? Would you give your 10-year-old self, Ben? Well, shoot, Ricky, you joined late, man. He's a little over 10.
Yeah, about 8 years out.
18, man. But hey, that's a good question. What advice would you give a 10-year-old Ben Precious?
You know what, man? I think at 10 years old, I wouldn't have known any better anyway. If someone had told me all this stuff, I think maybe at that age, you're not quite at the point to understand certain things. Because at that age, man, you're young. You just want to enjoy. It's almost like all you've got is life, right? You don't know anything else. You got no worries. So I think it's just a case of you just enjoy life and enjoy the moment. Because people always say, "Oh, I wish I could go back to school and do those days again." So I think it's just at that age, like, dude, you got your learning to do. You got experiences to have. So I think at that age, like, enjoy the moment. But to a 10-year-old, they probably wouldn't even take that in. But yeah, that's what I would say. Just, enjoy the moment and actually kind of realize maybe what you have at that age. Not that it gets easier or harder or anything like that. But yeah, I would say, enjoy what you got in front of you, because it's a pretty easy life at 10 years old and a pretty fun one.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Hey, so Ben, we'll get into too. You are helping structure and run a big event that I'm going to be part of, and it's called the Impact Tour, where there's a lot of impactful speakers, motivational speakers, teachers, trainers, which we'll get into here shortly, on how you came about that. So what advice, if someone was, say, 17, 18, 20, in a young, they think like a young hustler, to start a business,
right?
To start an actual business, and to start your own, hustle. Now we're not gonna, we could get into is something really a business if you have no employees, or is it scaling to that point? But regardless, and I don't know where your business is, but regardless of that, what advice would you give somebody that is in your, situation, that is young, 16, 17, wants to go be an entrepreneur, really just has this drive, like, what advice now you gave one nugget that was great, and that alluded to put yourself in an environment where those kind of people are. That's why you went to the 10X Con.
Yeah, for sure.
And I believe that 100%. So aside from putting yourself in the environment where the kind of people that you want to model, the kind of people you want to be around are, what advice would you give someone if you just had, say, one nugget or one thing to say? What will it take? Anybody that's young, what is the best advice that you could give them as someone young, starting out their own first business?
Sure. I would say be aware of the distractions. That's probably the main thing. And what I mean by that is, because nowadays with the likes of Instagram being out there, and again, just to touch on the events, you're going to go to these events and you're going to see so many cool things, right? So many different avenues you could go down in different businesses and things people are doing and ways to make money. And, I could name like 5 things off the top of my head. Like you got e-commerce, you got the marketing agency stuff, you could do lead gen, be a speaker, influencer, whatever it is. And my point is, you've got all these different avenues, right? And they all look amazing. And what I've seen so many times is, someone will choose one and then they'll bounce to the next and then the next, and then they'll see another opportunity pop up that looks great, because someone's like, make I don't know, 6 figures a month with this, and this. And all I see a lot of the time, a lot of young people who get into this space, they just keep bouncing around and they never stick the one thing out. And what I would say is, and it's exactly what I did, I've never done anything else. And I almost fell for it. And I'm so glad I didn't. Because my story with this is I had my marketing agency, just spent the whole past year working on it, right? And then this opportunity came up with e-commerce, right? To start like an online store, put products on it and do all this stuff. Because like something came up and this whole e-commerce space like blew up. A bunch of people were talking about it. And I almost got distracted and moved into that because it sounded so good. And then, you know what? I did it for a week. And then I realized, like, look, I'm spreading myself too thin. This other gig I've got going on with the marketing company is going to fall out the way when I have no idea what I'm doing here. And even though it sounds great, you've got to start from, like scratch again. It's another business.
Yeah.
So honestly, man, like to everyone out there, like, please, whatever you've got going, like stick it out. Like do not get distracted by something else that sounds good. Because I know what it's like. You'll be in your own avenue or your own business and it's not working. You know what I mean? You might feel like you're stuck in the mud. It's not getting anywhere. Everyone else is winning. You can't get the clients, whatever it is. So then this other opportunity pops up or you see this other avenue and you think, oh, that looks great. But you're going to go into that and the same thing's going to happen again. And it's literally a case of get the ball rolling in what you're already doing and then stick.
Hey man, and that's
the best bit of. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, man, that's one of the best nuggets that I've had on the show that you just gave, and
sure.
and it for you to realize that at 18, dude, it's like it is unbelievable because again, my team, right? We have our real estate investment academy and all this. We talk to people daily.
Right.
I get to look at their sheets, right, on the discovery calls. And so I'll look and see, oh, they're doing this and they're wholesaling and they flipped a couple homes and they want to buy apartment buildings. And they're so freaking, they have zero clarity.
Right. That's it.
Yeah. Zero clarity on what they want to do. And they wonder why they're not continuing to get results. Yeah. And so that's huge, man. And I 100% agree. I just told my son the other day, hey, man, because it's easy, he does that. Oh, I want to do my music. I want to do real estate. I want to, start a shoe business. I want to get a clothing line. And it's like all these things. Like, no, man, do this. Do one thing. Get really freaking good at it.
Yeah.
And then develop another income stream. Because I want 8 income streams. So they try to do 8 different things at once, and they get shitty results in all of them or half-assed results. So I agree with you 100% that like not getting distracted with all the shiny object syndrome and finding your niche, developing something, starting something. If you're, if it's e-commerce, get into it, grow. Because what you said, Ben, is people don't see results and they don't realize that the results are happening. They are just not seeing them in the physical sense yet, right? Like that tree. It's like the that Japanese tree where it's like, is it 5 years before you water it, harvest it every day, don't it dies? Yeah. And so there's growth and there's stuff that's happening, but people aren't seeing the tree 90 feet yet. And then once it takes 5 years, it hits the ground. Once it gets to the ground, it goes 90 feet in like 30 days. And that's exactly, and it might be, 1 month, 6 months, a year, 2 years. But so many people, like exactly what you said, man, they get distracted, they quit. Look at Tiger Woods. Yeah. Great example. How many people would have stuck with something when they've had surgeries and aches and pains and it was 10 years between major wins. And then he won the Masters after 11. How many people would freaking stick with something through personal drama,
Not many.
major life issues, deaths in the family, divorce, surgeries, all kinds of public drama.
Right.
For 10 weeks.
Right.
Maybe 10 months, but
Yeah.
nobody I know would have stuck that out for 10 years. I can't think of one person.
No, dude, no way.
I mean, and that's exactly what it takes, right? Is exactly what you said, is getting clarity, finding that one thing that you like, that you love, and just continuing to put the work in and continuing to figure it out, and just don't quit, man.
Exactly. And just to kind of touch on that clarity thing, that's another thing too. You've got to get certain on, what are you actually doing, right? Because all these other things are, floating around. And if you're not certain on, and this is the thing with having goals, and I know Grant talks about this, but really, like, if you actually set your goals out for real, like, don't just make them up, like, set them out, then like, you've got a path to follow, you got a target to hit. I think if you do that and get certain on what you're doing, then stick to your lane, like, stay in your lane and get the best at what you're doing. You almost can't lose, because it's just a case of putting the necessary amount of time and effort, and you're going to win. That's literally it. Like, that's the equation. Put in the right amount of time and effort and you're good. But if you jump to another avenue or see something else that looks good, then you're just going to break that flow, and you got to start from scratch all over again. And I've seen it so many times, man, like, coming up in this space. I've seen it countless times. And almost like in the moment, you're almost like mentally fixated on, oh, I should be doing this or that or this. So it's almost so hard to see it, because you're blurred by, like you say, like shiny object syndrome, right? It almost blurs your vision. But like I say, get certain, and then none of that stuff's going to get in your way. And I see it every day on Instagram, man. Like, every single day I see, people post results on this, and this. But it's really just a case of, like, look, I'm an expert at this, and I'm going to be the best in my space, and that's it. I actually, again, just to carry on a little bit, the reason why my company's where it is, it was literally the decision, man. Like, I positioned it at the top in LA, right? It's in the top 15 marketing companies in Los Angeles right now. And I tell you right now, no joke, that was the decision. That was a decision to make, to have that company in the top 15 lists and all the top 10 lists. Because what I did was essentially positioned it right there and branded it that way until it was a reality. And that was just a case of, again, sticking to my lane and getting certain on what I want this thing to be.
Yeah, man, you're alluding to something that is another nugget, and another key is seeing. You have to see yourself and your situation as where you want it to be, not where you are.
Exactly.
And you have to be willing to, obviously, like, put in the work, right? You told me, man, you're like, buddy, I put my head down for 2 years. Didn't go out with friends, didn't, or hang out, didn't go to this, didn't go to party, didn't, like, I was just head down, working, grinding, and putting the work in. And it's so funny you said that, because, we have people in our academy, some people, right? We have obviously people that get massive results, but you have some people, oh yeah, I tried it, didn't work.
Yeah.
Right. Like I've done over 3,000 deals this way. I have dozens of people making 6 figures, or 7 figures that I've taught. And I know, like, you can't tell me it doesn't work. You didn't work.
Yeah. Right.
That's what really happened. And so it's an easy way out. And these people go from one thing, like you said, they jump ship, they go to another thing, they go to another thing, and then they wonder why nothing ever works. You gotta, like you said, eliminate the distractions, pick what you want to do, pick who you want to mentor you. In your situation, you chose Ty Lopez, who's a great one. And obviously, like with social media, right, you can listen to kind of everybody now. You can listen to Grant.
Yeah, for sure.
Can listen to that person. But you say, hey, I'm going to do this. I like this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to master this. I'm going to figure it out. How long did it take you to really start seeing results, from putting work in and day out, night in, night out? How long did it take you? Because I don't know, I haven't asked you this, but to really start seeing, like, some growth and results.
Yeah, it was probably a solid year. I would say, I say a year, but let me put it this way. After working every single day for 6 months, it took me a whole 6 months to get one client signed on, right? So I got the one client, And then it was again probably another 3 months before I got the second one. So, I mean, I say probably 12 months before I started to see some traction. And then from there, it's like the snowball effect. So, yeah, probably around a year, year and a half, to be realistic about it. But something that just popped into my head was a lot of these, people online will make it sound like it's so easy. Like, hey, you can get to six figures this fast, or you can make X amount in 30 days or whatever, right? So it sounds so easy. And I think that's maybe why a lot of people give up, because they've been told it's no fault of their own. Like, hey, look, you can build a 7-figure, 6-figure, 8-figure agency with this program or this, system I'm going to give you, right? They get in and then they get 3 months in and nothing's happened, right? But then it's that certainty of the people that pull through are the guys that stick it out and go the full year or the full 2 years. And then that's when you really see what those guys were talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like anything, right? Like weights. I mean,
Yeah.
people aren't going to go to the gym and go for a week or go for a month. And if you go for a year, dude, I know people have been going to the gym for freaking their whole life. And they go and they half-ass the exercise and they barely walk on the treadmill. They're not getting their heart rate up. They're not burning right. They're not eating right. And it's like, do you want results, or do you just want to go through the motions?
Exactly, man.
And, and so for you, you put your head down, boom, 6 months, you get a client, boom, another 3 months, got a client. And then where is it at today? Like as far as nowhere near where you want it to be, I'm sure,
Sure.
being 18, but where are things at today? And share kind of what you want, but where are things at today, and what at 18 years old, where do you want to take it to?
Totally. So I've got a bit of a game plan laid out.
I know. I knew you did. That's why I had to ask.
But yeah, no. So where it's at today. So obviously, like I say, I was working on it the last, it's been about 2.5 years now since I founded it. So today, we've worked with multiple very well-known companies. We were the agency that actually helped Fashion Nova get off the ground. We ran a lot of influencer campaigns with them. We've worked with the likes of Ducati, Chevrolet, Guinness. We ran their events in LA last year. So I've worked with a lot of, Fortune 500 companies now, done some big marketing campaigns in that sense. That was something you got to scale into. We have a lot of clients signed on board, so we do a lot of B2B. The team is very strong. We've got a great team of people on board, a lot of different content guys, sales, people in marketing. And we're always looking for new people too. So today it's going very well. And honestly, man, we're just in like prime scaling stages. Like I want to keep building the team, bringing on clients, doing big deals. I've got a lot of awesome stuff in the pipeline to figure out. And then my game plan is I want to give it about, I don't know exactly, but maybe 3 to 5 years. And I think what I'm going to do, and it's not set in stone, but I think I want to cash it out. I want to give it about 3 to 5 years, get some really solid numbers on the books, and then I'll probably cash it out. And then my plan from there is, take all the money from this and then probably start something. I definitely want to get into real estate. That's a given. I'm just kind of waiting for the right time to do that. But honestly, man, really, and I'll be honest, like I've only really realized this in the last probably 3 to 6 months. Like I want to start something that has a real impact, and which is why I'm so on board with this event. And you're almost giving back, because actually something we've been doing with the agency and we've been figuring this out with a few businesses is, when I was in LA last, we went around a lot of like dog rescue places, right? And then we figured out a deal with them where, hey, look, we'll carry out free marketing for us. Just give us referrals. That's it. And then every referral you give us, we'll donate 10% of the retainer back to you. So it's stuff like that I really want to branch into a lot more so with the company. Because, dude, I can bring on big campaigns and huge retainers any day and make a bunch of money with that. Like, that's not an issue. I've got all that stuff in the pipeline and the companies to go to do that. But at the end of the day, like that's, I don't get too much out of that. So I think I really want to figure out how can I give back as much as possible with, what I've been able to build. And like I say, that's the plan. I want to give it like 3 to 5 years, cash it out, and then really either start something that focuses on that, like, making a real impact. Then I'll push the rest of it into real estate, and then that'll just be my thing that runs. So that's kind of the game plan. But yeah, I mean, like I say, to go back to what you originally said, today it's doing very well. Big team in place. We have office space in Hollywood, as you know. We were just in downtown, but we just moved last month. So yeah, it's going good. We're in prime scaling stages, like I say. So it's just a case of keep working it. And
hey, you got to you got to get around Brandon Dawson, man.
Yeah, think so,
dude. Where you guys want to scale?
Yeah,
he's the dude, man.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I've been seeing him around on Instagram. He's doing good at the minute, so I should hit him up.
Yeah, not only a good friend, but yeah, I mean, he's that's why him and Grant obviously formed Cardone. Sure. So hey, talking about Grant, also, so let's talk about this massive event, this tour called the Impact Tour, and I'll put the for those of you listening to this, I'll tell you the website, but I'm going to put it here on the screen in 1 second. So share with people, like obviously you're one of the people that are building this out and
sure.
Created it. What is the Impact Tour? Why did you create it, and when is it going to be?
So the Impact Players event is going to be in Arizona, in Glendale. All the information for this is on the website, but yeah, it's going down on July 24th. We have some amazing speakers. The event is centered around Grant, and Elena Cardone's also speaking. And like I just mentioned, this event really is revolved around, we're going to be dropping a lot of knowledge in the terms of how to be the best sales guy you can be. You know what Grant's like. He's the best sales guy in the world, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to be dropping a lot of knowledge on that. So knowledge-wise, you guys are covered. We're going to give you all the best sales information you need, how to scale a business, build one, and all the rest of it. But really what the event is really about, and we're really going to hit this home, is, again, how do you make an impact with what you're doing? And, you can have the business and all this stuff, but then, what can you get out of that? Like having a purpose behind it and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And the reason it's called Impact Players Tour is because we want to do multiple of these things, right? Like we're going to bring Grant to Arizona, and then we're basically going to take this thing on tour and bring on a bunch of awesome people. We have some really awesome speakers lined up that I can't mention the names right now because it would give away too much, but trust me, we have some really good plans for this thing.
You can mention me.
I can mention you. You're going to do that. That's right. For sure.
But so the Impact Tour is you guys are planning on, obviously the first one's going to be in Arizona. And for those of you that are watching this, I put the link on here. All you have to do is go to impactplayerstour.com. That's, www.impactplayerstour.com. And you can check it out. And it's in July. The date is what, July 27th?
The date is July 24th. And it's a full day event too.
Yeah, so July 24th on a Wednesday, 1 day full, just kick-ass, badass event that is going to impact a lot of lives, and kind of a mini maybe scaled down version of 10X in a way. Sure. And I know Grant's going to be there. I know that Elena will be there.
Yeah.
I know Chris Rood, and a lot of the sure. Obviously you'll be there, I'll be there, and a lot of the speakers. So when you guys designed this and created this, what was the main thing, Ben? Obviously the reason behind it, right, was to the 10X tour had a big impact on you. And
absolutely.
You and your partner Joel. And and I know Joel's story where Grant had a massive impact on his life back from 2012, and now he's very successful in the car business, and so which was awesome and just an incredible story, man. And so and I went. That was my first year going, and actually it had a massive impact on me. I told people hey man, if you don't get to every 10X event, you don't even know what you're missing out on. I mean, you can't even explain. It's like someone having a flip phone in the 90s has a Razor, and you try to tell them about getting an iPhone 8 Plus, and what it's going to be and do for them. It's it's so hard to explain. It's something that you really have to experience, right?
Very
And
true, yeah.
And so, so with the Impact Players Tour, the share with people, obviously the mission behind it is to impact people, you know, allow them to hear from some speakers that can impact them, change their lives.
Right.
And then also share some info about, you know, the 10X event. I'm telling you guys flat out,
Sure.
like the Impact Tour, you know, if it's going to be a mini version of 10X, you got to get to it.
Yeah.
Because like the 10X conference, I've been to a lot of conferences. I spoke at hundreds of events. It actually was, without a doubt, like no bullshit, the best, single-handedly the best event. The info that I learned, the friendships that I made from it, and alone, right? And so, so Ben, a lot of people that be it that they're young, be it that they're old, doesn't matter. And I talk about this a lot. Put yourself, you want to speed up the level in which you manifest your dreams. You have to put yourself in proximity with the exact kind of people that are going to be at the Impact Players Tour.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, like you say, you got to get around the right people, and an event like this is a perfect opportunity to do that. There's going to be around 2,000 attendees, and the great thing is about like pretty much all of those 2,000 people, they're all going to be 10Xs, right? So they already know what's up, which is great. And really, man, like our goal and mission with this whole thing is to basically equip people with, you know, like the skills and knowledge they need to be able to build a business, make an impact in their industry and lives too. Because at the end of the day, and then, as you know, like, you know, going to these events, like it teaches you so much more than just business, even though they are business conferences. At the end of the day, you'll learn so much more that you can implement into, you know, many different areas of your life, whether it be, you know, like health, mindset, even relationships and stuff like that. A lot of the knowledge that speakers like Grant provide, it's amazing for mindset. And I think that's one of the things, if you get solid and you get straight, like we were talking about, you know, like get certain on something, you know, Grant can really hit that home for you and how to do that and think that way. So yeah, it's going to be a great event. Like I say, 2,000 people there. It's a full day thing. We'll probably be kicking it off at around 9 a.m. It'll finish around 7 to 8 p.m. So it's a, you know, full day of just straight knowledge and value. We have some amazing networking opportunities as well. We really kind of focused on the networking side of things. So throughout the entire lunch break, we've actually got restaurants signed on as sponsors where people can go, and each restaurant's going to have its own industry, right? So you can actually go network with whatever group of people you want. Then after the event, we've got networking parties going on. If you go with the VIP ticket, we've got a networking area specifically for you guys, and all the speakers will be in that area too. So a lot of value to gain there. But like you say, it's almost like a mini 10X conference and like a full day one, with a lot of emphasis on the networking side of things and just providing a lot of value in the terms of how can you make an impact, but then also become like, you know, that sales guy you want to be, and then got all the skills you need that kind of come with that.
Oh yeah, and you know, here's the thing too. You know, we talked about, you touched on the number one thing is the number one nugget that you gave today that I see is, hey, don't get distracted. Right? Find something that you can do. Don't do 5 things. Don't do 6 things. Get really freaking lasered and do good and get one. Dude, I see this all the time. And you know, and I completely agree. No one has said it, any of my guests on my shows. And for someone, you know, someone that's 18 to catch that and realize that, dude, it's huge. Also, you know, I was talking on a mastermind, Ben, last week, and it's funny that you brought this up. Is I was talking about how to manifest what you want in your life, but speed up the process, right? Like how to really, what are the top things you can do to speed up the manifestation in the life you want? And one of the number one things, one of the top things was go out, travel to, go to where the kind of people that you want to be around are going to be. And and your story, the people you met at 10X, you know, obviously grown a lot of friendships and businesses. The people I met at 10X with Ricky O'Donnell, with Brandon Dawson. I mean, shoot, Brandon and I become buddies. I had no idea what he did. And here it's like now he's, starting a company with Grant, like Cardone Ventures.
Big stuff. Yeah.
And so if you, and by the way, you saw the interview, he went to that event, not even knowing Grant, right? Like they didn't even know each other. No one knew who he was. So the relationships, I'm not saying if you go to the 10X event, Grant's going to, you're going to start a company with him, but like, look at what can happen. You gotta, people got to put themselves in position. What was the top thing that, from the 10X conferences, how many have you been to now?
I've been to 2 of them. So GrowthCon 2 and GrowthCon 3.
Okay. And since then, since you went to an event like that, where's your business at from that point? Is it, 1X, 2X, 10X, 100? Right.
Dude, honestly, probably 100X. Like I can't even measure it. That's how, kind of crazy those things are. So from GrowthCon 2 to start with that one, that was like my first real event. Like I say, I flew from London to Vegas, like solo at 17, to go to that thing. And that was my first proper event, right? Dude, you should have seen it, man. Like I got to customs in Vegas and they're like, well, what's this kid doing here? So yeah, like I say, because
you weren't supposed to fly. You weren't supposed to fly alone probably unless you're under 18, right?
You can, but there's like certain things you got to, paperwork to fill out and whatnot. But I think it was just a bit of a surprise for him, like a 17-year-old, like rolling into Vegas. Like, what is that? So that happened. But anyway, yeah, so did that event. And I'll be honest, like that event, like I sat in my seat most of the time. I did the networking afterwards, but I was really focused on pulling as much knowledge as I could from the speakers. And I think that's great to do. Like, look, if you're going to your first event, maybe even second, like do that. Sit there, get the knowledge from the speakers, get what you paid for if you like. Do some networking in between. But then when it comes to like your third between GrowthCon 2 and GrowthCon 3. But when it got to GrowthCon 3, like, I'm like, listen, I ain't going to say I've heard it all, but like I've seen these speakers before. This information's available online and whatnot. So to be honest, like I only used my seat for like 20 minutes out of the whole 3 days that GrowthCon 3 was on. Literally 20 minutes. And the rest of the time I was up networking, taking business cards, and that's how you grow your business. And, you can sit there and take in all this knowledge, but if you don't take action on it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And you guys
on stage. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. So, like Grant's on stage talking about, sales strategies and all this stuff. So, like I say, go to these events, take the notes on that, but then actually show up and, take the action. And that's exactly what I did with GrowthCon 3. Like I said, I used my seat for 20 minutes and then the rest of the time I was up networking, and the stack of business cards I got a stack of them still right here. You know what I mean? Like I still got them, dude. Like this right here, that right here is money. Like this is money. You know what I mean? Like this will do way more than just knowledge for you. So, get around the right people and that's it. Pull the knowledge if it is your first event or second or whatever it is, like get as much as you can, but then just take the action and, do the networking. And that stack of cards I just showed you, like the amount of money that comes out of doing that and like following up with those people is crazy. Like you'll take your business to new levels.
Oh, 100%, man. And the cool thing is not just being part of the Impact Players Tour myself and being a speaker, but you're going to have, people will have like sponsors and booths and different things that people can go and network and meet with companies like when you can go to an area, you guys and gals, and actually rub elbows and shake hands and talk and meet people that you only see on social media that are high level players and playing at a high level. Like, I mean, to me, knowing what I know now, I would spend every dime I had just to get there, like you did, right? Man. You were young, and say, hey, I'm putting it all on the line because like I have to get around these people and get to know them and become friends with them and just, see what happens. And I mean, you did it at a young age. It changed your life. And, so I want to encourage you guys, that are watching this, please go check out www.Impact Players Tour. This is, because it's like a mini 10X, if I can say that. Obviously,
Sure.
the fire from the stage. You know, Snoop Dogg might be opening. Grant's not probably going to parachute in. I mean, you might parachute in, but
I might try it.
You're Joel. But
Yeah.
it is going to be a home run event, you guys. The tickets are like no brain affordable.
Yeah.
So go on there. You can go to the website. You can buy tickets. It will sell out there. They just opened up sales recently, and it's absolutely like going berserk right now. So if you want to get in on this, if you want to get to the event, it's an area. It's not like 35,000 people, right? But you guys intend to have how many?
We're going to have 2,000 people, but you know what? That's actually a real nice number because it's not way too many and it's not too small either. Like 2,000 is a sweet spot.
Yeah, and that means that, you know, obviously you're going to have, you know, people promoting this, Grant and everyone, so he can get 35,000 people into a venue. You can imagine 2,000 people it's going to sell out instantly and super fast. Sure. And so that's why I want to make it urgent for you guys watching this. Like, don't dick around. It's a few months out, but put on your schedule, go on here and come out to the event. You know, I'd love to see you, meet you. I know Ben would. And let me ask you one last thing before we bounce out here.
Sure.
For people that are watching this and deciding that, hey man, Ben, I really like, well, first of all, people can connect with you on social media.
Sure.
Right. And I'll put our names back on screen here and hide this. So people can connect with you on social media. Ben Precious, Precious.
Got it.
Better last name than me. And so I want to steal that. But
take it.
Yeah. So people can connect with you on social media, buddy. But what would, you know, for the people that are having a, you know, maybe not where they're at in life, and they're saying, man, you know, I tried this, I tried that, this didn't work. What would be the last thing that you could say to them? And, you know, as far as maybe a nugget that you could leave people with that can help them if for any reason at any age, they've been beat down, they tried things that hasn't worked, they went to this event, didn't impact their life, they've done things, whatever. What advice would you give anybody that from your stance that is having a tough time believing that they can really achieve a life of their dreams?
Right. The main thing is get certain. And a practice I would take up is write your goals down. But just do it down, because I know I used to do that. Like, you know, people just say, hey, write your goals down, and, you know, you do it and then you're done with it. But like, seriously, like, write them down every morning and every night. And the reason, and here's how I do it too. First thing when I wake up, I write them down. Don't check the phone, nothing. Like, first thing, write them down. And then last thing before I go to bed, like, literally I write them down, then I hit the pillow. I don't check my phone, nothing like that. The reason you do it like that is because you always end your day on a good note, and you give yourself a sense of direction, and you always start your day off on the right foot too. So look, if you know, I guess not feeling it, you know, your flow's not there, whatever it is, like, just get certain on what it is you want, and it might take some time to find that. And don't worry if you don't find it right away either, because no one, you know, really knows. Like, what I'm doing right now, like, you know, I don't know what I'll be doing in 5 years, 10 years. I mean, I got a good idea, you know, I've got a game plan, but in 10 years time, I got no idea. Like, I could be doing something completely different. And I kind of know the tracks I'll be on, but who knows what space it'll be in, right? So don't get caught up in the details. I think a lot of people get really caught up in the details. Like, you know, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Like, how can I be doing this? The main thing is just show up and take the action. And no matter like what it is, just like move in some kind of direction. Just make sure it's not backwards, right? Like, just as long as you're doing something to move forwards, even if it's the tiniest bit, as long as you do that every single day and show up, then you'll be fine. But really, again, like I say, just do not get caught up on the details, because it's so easy to do that too. Like, keep it simple, because that's all it is at the end of the day. Cool. Bradley, he's like, all that success is you do more and you get better. That's it. Like, there's nothing else to it. It's actually very simple. But you know, people overcomplicate it with, and it's easy to overcomplicate it, right? You've got this huge company, all this money's coming in, you got this here or that there. But like I say, just don't get caught up on the details. Like, certain, you know what you're doing, and keep it simple. If you keep it simple, then you're not gonna have all this stuff going on in your head that's telling you otherwise. You know what I mean? So yeah, move in some kind of direction each day, as long as it's forward. Show up and just take the action. Like, it's a real simple formula. And I think if you do that and be consistent with it too, you know, it's going to be very hard to start feeling like you can't accomplish certain things, because as soon as that ball gets rolling, and it's going to take effort to do that. Like, you know, don't underestimate that by any means. You know, there's literally a formula to it. Like, put in the right amount of time, the right amount of effort, and you'll get what you want. And yeah, just, you know, keep that flowing, and the belief will come. And like I say, you keep doing that, you'll start getting wins. And once those wins come in, you'll build confidence on that. Then all you got to do is take that confidence, you know what I mean? Build a good mindset with it, and keep the ball rolling, and just stay on that path, and don't give up, right? Because at the end of the day, like, anything really is possible, as long as you believe in it.
Yeah, and you're an example, man, to a lot of people. I love it, and I just I'm looking forward, obviously, to seeing you when you get back to LA, rocking the house at the Impact Players Tour, and then but yeah, thanks for being on the show today, brother. You can stay on here with me. I'm going to end the broadcast. So those of you, go to impactplayerstour.com, book your tickets now. It's going to sell out 100% because it is a smaller venue, and with Grant and Elena being there and a bunch of other people, it's going to sell out. So go there. There's not a lot of space. Get your tickets now. Get to the event. We'll see you there. And then also make sure that you follow this guy. You connect with Ben on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, and thank you guys for coming to the show. So love all of you. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.